Good morning, everyone. Shanti just came. Lori just asked if my animals were still in bed or if they were down here. And I said, no, they're still in bed. I'm down here alone. And then I hear Shanti just come flying across the house upstairs, down the stairs, and she just wiped out right at 10 o'clock, right on time. Well, welcome, everyone. If you were right on time as well, glad you're here with us. And good morning. I see that Nicole said something, but my eyes are, oh, there we go. All by myself. Yes, Nicole, thank you for the music playlist for my solo time. I'm appreciative of you for showing up for work. It's very nice of you. Lori, she'll probably like say hi just to, feel included, and then she'll go back to her nap. Just enough to put fur all over my black pants. Hello. Well, if you are not, Yessie. She's like, bye, I'm going back to bed. Well, if you're not privy to my furry friends, that was Shanti. Musketeer is sleeping upstairs, I believe. They were both kind of just spooning away from each other this morning and did not seem like they were going to make it to class. So that was quite the surprise. I'm Mikki, if you've not practiced with me before. And happy sunny, if you're with us in the Northwest this morning, happy sunny Saturday. I know that my soul definitely needs some sunshine, so I hope that you're feeling a little bit uplifted by the golden ball in the sky this morning. Oh, hold on. Let's make sure it's working. Okay, it's working. If things aren't working, just always refresh and go back to our live page, and it should just be there. I want to start today just by saying that I've talked to so many of you over the last couple of weeks, and there just seems, and it probably will feel a little less this way this morning, but probably still there. But like, there just seems to be this theme across everyone I know, at least, of feeling tired and less than motivated, and somehow kind of feeling broken or like that's wrong or bad right now. Good morning, Yulia. Really glad you're here. And, I know we said this a lot kind of in the thick of things last year in these classes, and maybe it's been a moment since we've said it, but it's okay to not be okay in this moment. And I think we are in our kind of rush or like desire to get back to normal. It feels like we should be feeling normal. But we all have been through a lot this last year. And so here's the other one. If you are feeling tired, if you're feeling less than motivated, if you're feeling fragile, if you're feeling down, I think that's to be expected right now. And I'm just one voice here to support you and encourage you to not beat yourself up over it, not to expect anything more of yourself. And that is beautifully practiced here on the mat by not trying to push through whatever it is that we're carrying and feeling, but just to give yourself kind of the dose of medicine that you need in this moment to feel supported and to feel cared for and to feel good when you head off of your mat. And so if that means that you take it really slow and easy this morning, much slower than I'm going to take it, you do that. If it means you lay down and take a nap for the next hour, please do that. If it means that you stay in certain shapes longer or kick your own butt a little bit more, this is your space to not continue to do all the things and try to show up for all the things, but to just be with yourself and to listen to what you need. All right. So, however that resonates with you this morning, I hope you'll tuck that into your practice and give yourself a little space and grace this morning. All right, so we're going to get started in a comfortable seat today. I haven't seen anyone in the chat that was with us at Korea last week, but I had several requests to do the class that I taught at Korea last week as a recording. So we're going to repeat that practice. It'll be a little different because I always improvise a bit. So if you were with us at Korea, I apologize if this feels like a duplicate. But it was a nice practice. So you're in for a treat if you haven't had it before. All right, so finding your comfortable seat. Let's just rub your hands back and forth on your thighs a couple times. Just kind of feel that connection, that traction between hands and legs. And then one of these times that your hand slides down to the knees, go ahead and let them settle there. Let's blink your eyes to shut. Yulia, I'm feeling all these things too. And let's start to take a couple big full breaths in and out. Breathing into your body, your mind, your heart, in whatever way that they are showing up this morning. And try not to bully them into being anything or something else. Right now, you do not need to do anything except be here and to breathe in and out. What is to come will come. And I think a good part of our sort of beating ourselves up, of feeling fatigued and feeling down, is that anxiety or that worry of how are we going to accomplish all the things. But we don't know how we'll feel in the next moment. We don't know how we'll feel in the next breath or the next day or the next week. So, here, right here, you're just breathing, and however you're feeling here, can you give yourself some space, some compassion? Now, ever so subtly, like if I were in the room with you, I'd want to barely see this. Okay, so just really, really subtle. I want you, as you exhale, to lean back, almost like you're going to come back to boat pose, almost like you're going to tip back, but just ever so subtly, where you feel your weight shift onto the back of the sit bones. As you inhale, we're going to do the opposite and sort of tip forward onto the front of the sit bones, like you're going to fold over your legs. Now, the first couple of these might be a little bit visible, a little bit of a big movement, but then over time here, over a couple of rounds, I want this to get so subtle that your body is barely, barely moving. But deep down around the sit bones, you can feel that subtle shift of weight back, that subtle, subtle shift of weight forward. Feeling that kind of leaning forward, that anticipation of moving forward, that existing in the front body, and feeling that kind of lingering back, that living in the back body. Now, most of us have a pattern there as we just sit in life, as we walk in life, as we function in life. When we're not thinking about our body, we tend to either kind of live back or live forward, both physically and mentally. And so, this morning's practice, I want you to explore this and just notice this and kind of see what your pattern is, where you tend to go physically. Do you tend to live in that anticipatory stance? Do you tend to kind of draw back? And also, where does the mind go? So, in the next couple rounds of breath, I want you to try to find just a really tall stack to your spine where you feel equally in the front body, equally in the back body. You feel grounded and rooted on those sit bones in a way where it doesn't feel like you're leaning back or leaning forward. And then we're going to take your right hand out to the right, just let it touch the ground beyond the fingertips. And we're going to let your left ear drop toward your left shoulder. As the head falls toward the left, you might crawl that right hand an inch or two further away. Some of you might take that hand and lift it up off the ground. And you might move it up and down a little bit, or you might find the sweet spot and just be. Okay, so a little neck release, continuing to breathe. And just acknowledging as we settle, right, as it becomes familiar and we sit into this position for several breaths here, what your tendencies are in terms of leaning back, leaning forward. As you get comfortable into your practice, where the mind goes. And then let that right hand come on down to the ground if it's lifted. Let your head come on up through center. And then let's bring both of your hands to your heart. We're going to lean back onto those sit bones just enough that you can recross your legs. Bring those legs back to the ground and let's sit tall. Hands back to your legs, palms down, so there's that touch of hands onto the thighs there. Let the eyes drop or close. Feel the breath once again. Feel how you're existing in space. And as you become more familiar, as you become more intimate, more connected to how you're existing in your body today, right? It's like layers of an onion. Every breath we spend here hopefully brings us a little deeper into that onion. Can you notice how the shoulders are placed, how you're carrying your head? Let's take your left hand over to the left. Let your right ear fall toward your right shoulder. Maybe the left hand crawls a little further away. Maybe it floats off the ground completely. Maybe it finds its sweet spot. Maybe it lifts and lowers. Right? All options, all suggestions, all just invitations to explore. Let's take one more full breath here. We'll let the hand come to the ground. If it's lifted, we'll let your head float up on top of your spine. Let's take both sets of hands down to the ground now beside you, sitting up nice and tall. Let's inhale, hands out to the side, up to the sky. Let those palms join together overhead and exhale, hands down into your heart. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, breathing fully in here. This sunny Saturday morning. Palms press. As the hands come down to the heart, let the heart lift to meet the thumbs. One more time. Biggest reach yet, biggest inhale yet. And let those hands settle. Now, as those hands come down to heart, we are going to roll over onto hands and knees, coming into your table pose. Setting up with your wrists below your shoulders, your knees below your hips into your table pose. And let's drop the belly as you inhale, cow pose. And then exhale, round your spine, let the head fall forward, cat. Couple rounds back and forth here. Cow pose, the belly fills and drops, just that natural expression of your breath. Exhale, the belly fills into the back body, spine rounds. So a little bit more of an obvious exploration of what we were doing seated, right? As you come into cow, there's this very much kind of existing in the front body experience here. As you round into cat, there's this very back body experience here. Let's take 2 more rounds of this and using it to begin to find your table pose, that center neutral place, sort of like that tall seat we found, where you're existing evenly in the back and the front body. So when you're ready, table pose, long spine, long neck. You can stay there if you'd like, or tuck your toes under and float your knees just an inch off the ground. And if you choose to float those knees, notice where the head goes. If it falls, if you begin to exist a little more in the front or the back body, and can you just feel that connection evenly forward and backward, past and present, or past and future. And then hips are going to go up and back as you pull back into your downward facing dog. Heels toward the ground, hips toward the sky, head heavy between your arms. And let's take a little down doggy tail wag this morning. You might pedal the knees. You might just let those hips wag side to side. I'm feeling so alone without my fluffies this morning. And then from this down dog, let's roll up onto your tippy toes. Let your heels lift. Inhale. And exhale, let those heels drop down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting. Try to have every single knuckle pressing into the ground. Exhale, heels down. One more time, heels lifting. And heels dropping. Now, as those heels drop down, we're just going to take your feet, we'll move them out to the edges of your mat. So it's a wider legged down dog. Put a small bend into your knees, and we are going to crawl your hands all the way back to your feet. Bend those knees generously. Let your head hang. Let the arms dangle. And just noticing if you want stillness or if you want movement. If movement feels good, put a little sway into the shape, into the body. You can also bounce here a little bit. You could also be still. But whether you're moving or still, can you notice the connection of your feet to the floor? Is it possible to have even weight
in the balls of the feet and the heels. You might even do that subtle rock forward and back like we did seated. Just that little shift of weight into the balls of the feet, little shift of weight into the heels. Because there's power in observation through experience, right? Feeling what it feels like to have your weight in the heels, feeling what it feels like to have your weight forward in the feet, because then that brings awareness to what it feels like to be balanced. Now let's keep that weight heavy in the feet. Crawl your hands back forward into your downward facing dog, kind of like a cat crawling out of bed. Excuse me. We're going to bring your feet to hip width. And let's take your right leg, lift it up toward the sky. As that leg lifts, let's roll that ankle out a little bit. And then roll it the other direction. Doesn't matter how high that leg is. And then with your exhale, let's bring your right foot forward between your hands. And we're going to come on up into your crescent lunge. So back knee off the ground, back heel off the ground. Depending on how your shoulders feel this morning, let's either go hands to heart or hands to the sky. We're going to root into that right big toe. We're going to begin to straighten your right leg until both legs get all the way straight. I want you just to feel your torso's position in space. And as the two legs get straight, is it possible to feel like you're stacked right between those two legs? And then we're going to try to keep that sense and rebend into the front knee. We're going to do that a couple times, exploring, noticing tendencies to lean forward, tendencies to lean back. Can you get present, centered, balanced here in the moment? Let's take one more. Let that front leg get super, super straight. And then as you bend the front knee, we'll let your hands come down around your front foot. And we're going to step it back into downward facing dog. Now, if you would prefer to skip the planks today, you could lift and lower the heels with your inhale, exhale, like we did a little bit ago, or inhale, come forward to plank. Yay. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog, extra yay. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. One more time, plank. And down dog. From this down dog, let's take your left leg, lift it to the ceiling. Remember, it does not matter how high it gets off the ground. Roll that ankle a little bit. And then when you're ready, step left foot forward between your hands. We'll come up into your crescent lunge. Hands at heart or hands to sky. Honor your shoulders and how they're feeling today. Root into the left big toe, straighten your front leg. Feel the torso's position in space, your tendencies here, your patterns, and then keeping that torso really upright, really centered. Go ahead and bend the front knee, sink on down. We'll do that a couple times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Find your rhythm here. We'll do that one more time. Maybe lingering for a moment when both legs are straight, just feeling that uprightness, that centeredness. And then we'll bend the front knee, let the hands come down. And back you go, downward facing dog. We'll take 3 more breaths here. You can lift and lower the heels, or you can inhale forward to plank. And exhale, pull back. 2 more rounds. As you pull back this time, let's start to stroll your feet forward to your hands. Ending up in your forward fold at the top of the mat. Generous bend to your knees. Let the torso drape, let the head fall, let the arms dangle. And then let's bend your knees a little more. And we are going to roll up inch by inch by inch. And go ahead and close your eyes so that as you start to come upright and you stack the body, you are able to sense from inside how the body is stacked. Is there that kind of forward leaning sense of the body, the anticipation? Is there that backward leaning resistance? Hands can just be down by your side. Let's turn the palms forward, thumbs out. And just like we did seated, just like you did in your forward fold, ever so subtly, feel the weight shift forward to the balls of the feet. Let the body respond. Feel the weight shift back to the heels. Don't fall over. Maybe once or twice forward and back. And while you could do this in a really obvious, visible way, I think there's maybe more power, more to experience or learn from keeping it really subtle, really soft. Now, when you're ready, settle with that weight evenly distributed front to back. On the feet, feel how the body stacks and responds to that. And then inhale, let's blink the eyes open, take your hands to the sky. And exhale, bow forward. Any amount of bend to your knees here. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Fingers on shins or ground, whatever feels nice. And then exhale, let's fold. Rooting into your feet. Inhale, rise up, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do that again. Inhale, let's reach. Notice as the hands go up where the weight shifts in the feet. Exhale, let's fold. Notice where the weight shifts. Can it stay even front to back on your soles of your feet? Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And let's step your left leg back. Rising up with your inhale, crescent lunge. We'll start to move into one breath, one movement. Exhale, hands come down. Feel free to slow it down or speed it up at any point. Let's inhale back into your plank. Remember, you can skip and head to down dog if you'd prefer. Knees to the ground, and nice and slow and steady. Elbows bend straight back as you lower all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes. Inhale, heart lifts, head lifts, baby cobra. Back to belly as you exhale. Pressing into hands and knees, come up through table and downward facing dog. No rush. When you're ready, we'll take left leg, lift it to the ceiling, lift it to the sky, that sunny sky. Exhale, step the foot forward, and we rise, crescent lunge. With your next exhale, hands come down around the front foot. We'll step your right foot forward next to your left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward, fold forward. Rise up, reach up. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Again, inhale, let's reach. Exhale, let's fold. Halfway lift, breathing in. Exhale, bow forward. Let's step your right leg back first this time. We're going to ground your back heel to the mat and come up warrior one facing the front of the mat. If that's not good for your low back or just doesn't feel good in your legs, you can keep the back heel lifted. Let's pause for a full breath here.
As that back heel comes down, it becomes more likely that we're going to tip forward or back a little bit. Not necessarily wrong or bad, just kind of noticing where the body is in space. And then let that back heel lift, let the hands come down. And let's step back, downward facing dog. Option to stay here, option to come forward to plank. Knees up or down, elbows point straight back. Try to be present with the transition and the movement the whole way down. Inhale, cobra. Maybe you keep it low. Maybe you lift up higher. Back to belly with your exhale. Inhale, table or plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Your right leg lifts when you're ready. And we step it forward between your hands. Ground your back heel. That does not have to be a graceful transition. Just make it work. And we'll come on up. Warrior one. With that invitation to make it crescent instead, anytime that feels better. Full, complete breath here. Is it possible to be as connected to your back foot here as you are to your front foot? Next exhale, hands come down around your front foot. And we'll step forward, feet together, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow forward. Feel the weight in the feet all the way up to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Let the eyes drop or the gaze close. We're going to roll up to the balls of the feet. Let the heels lift, slow and steady. And then as you exhale, we're going to slowly lower those heels to hover just off the ground. Inhale, slow and steady lift. Exhale, slow and steady lower. Feeling the body's position over your center of gravity, over your feet. Inhale, rising. Exhale, lowering. Heels come down, hands go to the sky. Feel that line from your ankle bone up to the middle of your thigh bone, the middle of your shoulder, the back of your earlobe. And then attempting to keep this sense of being centered, being really upright in space. Let's start to bend your knees, sitting back toward chair. Inhale, root down into your heels, let the legs straighten, rise back up. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale, sitting back, sitting down, any amount. Just doing your best. There's going to be a little forward lean by flexion of hips. But even in that forward lean, can you feel evenly existent in your front and your back body? Evenly aware front to back. Inhale, standing up. One more time, sitting down, sitting back, sitting up tall. And then straighten. One more time, chair pose. We're going to linger here for a moment in time. If your shoulders are tired, hands can come to your heart. We're going to shift into your right foot, hover that left foot just an inch off the ground. Firm that outer right hip in. And then put that left foot down, shift over to the left foot. Hover your right foot an inch. Back to that right foot. And we're going to come all the way up to standing with your left knee into your chest. Pausing here for a moment. Doesn't matter how high that left foot is off the ground. Another moment, another opportunity to notice if, as you come onto that one foot, as the leg comes up, do you lean back? Do you lean forward? Can you feel that existence evenly forward and backward? And then let's take the left knee out toward the left. We're going to place that foot for tree pose on either the thigh, the calf, or a little kickstand inside the ankle bone. Steady breath, steady eyes, even if the body feels a little unsteady this morning. Hands could be at heart or reaching skyward. Let's take 2 more really full breaths here. And then we're going to turn the left knee forward, bring the foot off the leg. Take your hands, reach them back behind you as you start to take your heart forward, left leg back. Bend your right knee, and let's step it all the way back into your crescent lunge. As you find your lunge, let's ground your back heel, open up. Warrior 2. And let's take your right hand, reach it way forward for a moment. And then take your left hand and reach it way back. One more time each direction. Reach forward. Reach back. And then try to settle your torso right at center. Even length up the 2 sides of the waist, neither anticipating forward or resisting back. And then we'll straighten your front leg, really ground into that right big toe. Feel both legs get nice and active. And when you're ready, we'll take that reach and lean forward through your right hand one more time and let your right hand come on down to shin, floor, or block for your triangle pose. Keep those legs strong and active. Let's start with your gaze down toward that right big toe. And then super, super slow, we're going to start to turn your gaze toward the side. Hi, everyone. And then maybe up toward your top hand. Final breath. As that gaze looks upward, can you draw your right shoulder back away from the neck and the ear? And then let's bend your front knee, come up, arms parallel to the ground, gaze turns back toward the right hand. Lunge into that front knee, left hand down the back leg, right hand up and back. Exhale, hands down around your front foot. Come onto the ball of the back foot and let's step to plank. Now I figure with the sunshine, you can handle a little bit of a plank hold. But if you can't, if it's not what you want this morning, knees come down and wide here, toes together, press back to child's pose. Okay. So whether you're in child's pose or plank, in plank your knees can be down or up. Let's close the eyes. Find the fullness of your breath. And is it possible to breathe as fully into the back of your body as you're breathing into the front of your body? Final full breath. If you're in child's pose, you might stay a little longer. If you're in plank, let's take that vinyasa if you're game for it, or head to down dog. So knees up or down, elbows point back, we lower. Inhale, cobra of any height. Back to belly. And up through table or plank. Into your downward facing dog. When you're ready, we'll take a big full breath in, start to bend the knees, lift the heels, look forward, and exhale, walk, step, or hop, top of the mat. Into that halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise up, reach up into your mountain pose, your Tadasana. Hands to the sky. Feel that stack. Feel the placement of weight on your feet. Feel where the mind is living. Is it front? Is it back? And then begin to sit down into chair, trying to keep yourself as centered as possible. Steady breath in here. Let's begin to shift into your left foot. Right foot hovers. Stand up with right knee into your chest. Hands can be skyward or at heart. Notice your patterns of, you get it at this point, right? Leaning back, leaning forward. Here, right here. When you're ready to put the tree pose into it, right knee turns to the side. Place the foot on thigh, calf, or ankle. Settle into the steadiness of your breath. When you're ready, we'll turn the knee forward, recenter yourself. Hands reach back, and when you're ready, heart goes forward, leg goes back. For just a brief flight, as you bend the front knee, step it back. Shoulders over hips, hands to the sky, and then we'll ground your back heel and open up. Warrior two. As you get in here, we'll do that reach forward. Your coffee's just out of reach. And then reach back. Oh, now it's back there. Reach forward. Someday I'll have you in the room with me again. I won't have to laugh at my own jokes. Reach back. And come right into center. Neither with that anticipation or resistance back. Side body equally long. Gaze toward that front middle finger. Let's straighten your front leg. Feel the connection of the big toe into the floor. Active quads, 2 strong legs. Left hand reaches forward and comes down onto your shin or the floor. Right hand to the sky. Triangle pose. Let's start with your gaze downward. Is it possible to keep the evenness up the 2 sides of the waist, the even presence in the front and the back of your body? Slowly, let's turn your gaze toward the side. And then slowly toward the sky. As your gaze turns upward, can that left shoulder draw down the back, away from the ear? Can it draw toward the left side of your mat so it's not rounding forward? We'll bend your front knee, come on up, gaze shifts toward the front hand. Inhale, reverse. And hands around your front foot. Come on to the ball of the back foot. And you have 5 breaths in plank or child's pose. Down dog is also an option. Sitting and drinking your coffee is also an option. Noticing where the breath resides and whatever shape and activity you've chosen to take these moments of noticing. We'll take that vinyasa if you're game for it. Trying to be with each moment of the shapes and the movements as opposed to already moving forward into the next. You know the sequence by now. Just follow it with your breath. If you don't know where to, you forgot, you can make it up, right? It's not really so much about chaturanga cobra, back bend, down dog. It's about moving with your breath in sort of a neutralizing, resetting way. When you find your down dog, let's bend knees, lift heels, look forward, walk, step, or hop. Top of the mat. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Folding as you breathe out. Rising up, reaching toward the sky.
And hands to heart. Eyes close or drop. Steady breath in. Steady breath out. Inhale, hands high, hips back, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. Let's just bring your hands by your sides, palms forward as you rise up. Inhale, sit back, reach up. Exhale, standing. Two more. Last one, we'll sit back into your chair. Shift into your right foot. Left leg is crossing over your right, maybe for a little kickstand of toes on the ground. Maybe the foot pushes into the outer calf. This could also be figure 4 if that's better for you. And you could say no to all of it and take tree pose again. Take your arms forward, parallel to the ground, palms face up. If you want to just focus on legs, then let your hands find a shape that works for you. Or left arm on bottom, bend your elbows. Press the palms, the back of the hands, 2 fists, or a hug. Even breath, front body and back body. Even breath, left body and right body. And is it possible for you to sit upright just a little bit more? Let's stand up, left knee into the chest, hands unravel, go to the sky, stand tall. Maybe you kick that left leg out to straight. Just see. And nice and slow and steady, lower it down. Palm to palm, hands to heart. Hands release down by your sides, palms forward, thumbs out. Try to stay steady with the gaze, with the breath. Inhale, chair. Shift into the left foot, right leg hovers and crosses over into that eagle leg as you're ready. Toes on the floor, foot on the outer calf. Could be figure 4 leg, could be tree pose. Maybe that's plenty. Maybe you take the arms forward, right arm on bottom, bend elbows, palms, hands, fists, or hug. And there's going to be a little element of leaning forward here, but today I want you just to explore how upright can you sit? How evenly can you live in the front and the back body here? How present, how centered can you be? All right, the physical body and the experiences we have in our body are just ultimately a gateway to our minds. What you create with your body creates an effect for the mind. We're going to stand up into that left foot, bring your right knee up, unravel your arms, take your hands skyward. This might be plenty. Maybe you kick that leg out towards straight. Maybe you lower the foot to the ground. 2 feet down, 2 hands high. Maybe you look up. Maybe you allow yourself a moment of leaning back, little standing back bend, and then bring yourself right to center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale into any amount of that standing back bend. Hands reach back. And then exhale, kind of like a crunch. Bring yourself to stacked. Inhale, stand tall here. And then exhale, bringing yourself forward. Let's fold. Halfway lift. We're going to make our way back to downward facing dog. You might go through that plank, chaturanga,
back bend. You might simply step back to down dog. Couple breaths here. I'm gonna fix my pants. When you're ready, let's take your right leg, lift it any amount up and back. Now, the goal here, the destination is we're going to end up with your right foot outside your right hand. You can step the right foot outside the right hand from here, or you can bring it down the middle, then wiggle it out and bring your right hand in. So let's start with hands on the ground, back knee lifted, kind of thinking plank in the body, right? So instead of kind of really peaked hips, is it possible to bend the front knee, to lower the pelvis so that it's in line with that back heel, the crown of the head, almost like you're preparing for plank, which you're not, don't freak out. Your plank days are done for today anyway. And just feel that cohesion from back heel through crown of head, that line that you were able to create for yourself. And then let's bend that back knee down to the floor. Let the hips soften toward the ground. You might stay here. You might come on down to one or both forearms for lizard pose, right? So down here. And wherever you're at, if you're feeling a little bit grippy in that front hip, see if I can walk my hands back so you can see. Then I'm going to invite you today to just take that whole right leg and turn it out a little bit towards the right, maybe 30, 40 degrees from the hip. So the hip is turned open, the knee is turned open, and the foot is turned open. Feel free to close your eyes. We're here for a few more breaths. Okay, lift your back. If you're on your forearms, come back onto hands. If that back knee is on the ground, up it goes. We're going to wiggle ourselves back to plank. You might come to down dog and then make it forward to plank. And we're going to lower all the way down to the belly. Don't worry, you'll get lizard on the second side. Let's walk your hands just a tiny bit back. So elbows are below the, wrists are below the elbows. So instead of kind of here, there, okay? Forehead to the ground, toes pointing back. As you inhale, we're going to pull back on your hands. So don't push down, pull back. We're going to start to inhale, lift feet, lift shins, lift thighs, lift head, lift shoulders. And then exhale, just roll right back down. We're going to take a few rounds here. Inhale, heart lifting, legs lifting, hands pulling back. And exhale, nice and slow, back to the floor. How about two more? Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Nice and easy. Let's push into hands and knees. Come on up, table. And back you go, hips to heels. Just a couple breaths of child's pose. Just let that low back broaden and be wide. Feel that breath fully into the back body here. We'll come up to table. And we're going to do that one more round through, getting that other side of lizard. So down dog. Left leg lifts. Remember, it's going to come outside the left hand. So you can either step it outside directly or you can step it forward. As many steps as that takes, and then wiggle the left leg out. Hands come inside. We'll start with that back knee lifted so that you can kind of get that line of plank.
Why the line of plank? Not because we love plank. Maybe you do. But because plank and mountain pose, tadasana, these shapes that are very symmetrical, very centered front to back, where the body is in one cohesive line. Are the places in which the body is at its center, kind of the neutral baseline around which all other shapes and movement and experiences can exist. Bring that back knee down to the floor if you haven't already. Let things soften. If you need to angle the left leg out, angle the left leg out. If you want to come onto forearms, one or both, come on down. Where's your mind? You're existing more in the front body or the back body. Final full breath here. Let's come back onto hands if you're on forearms. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Any way that works for you. Back you go into your plank. Knees up or down. We're going to lower it to the belly. So just nice and easy. Let's take 4 more dynamic lifts and lowers here. So wrists below elbows. Pull the hands back on the mat as you lift legs, lift head, back body activation at its fullest here. And then come on back down. Just breathe into that front body. Inhale. Exhale. Two more at your pace. Pushing the hands and knees. Come on up, table. And back to child's. Let the elbows be soft. You might even at this point take those arms and wrap them around your legs. Let's take one more full inhale here. And a full, complete exhale. And then hands press into the mat, and we'll kind of press up towards seated. Swing your legs around, coming to the bottom. And we're going to lower ourselves all the way down onto your back. As you come down onto your back, let's take your arms out beside you. Knees bent, feet on the floor. Let's bring your right ankle to your left thigh. That figure 4 shape, and we're going to take your legs toward the left. Outer left thigh, right foot to the ground. For your twist, if you have a supine twist version that you prefer, feel free to modify and take that. I've really been liking lately, feels like a nice, really subtle support to reach down with my left hand and hold my right ankle. Doesn't necessarily do anything other than allow you to feel held.
Breath even and steady. Mind soaking up the details of this moment. Taking this moment, inhale by inhale and exhale by exhale. Okay, come on back to center with the legs. Right foot down. Full breath at neutral, perhaps. And then left ankle, right thigh. Knee falls open. We'll take those legs to the right. Right thigh, left foot on the ground. You might reach down with your right hand and provide support. One more full breath here. We'll ease back to center. Letting that left foot come on down to the ground. Let the arms slide down alongside the body for a moment. And I want you just to take your feet, push them down into the floor, and feel like you're pushing the feet away from you, kind of like you're kicking the feet down and away into the mat. And then do that same thing, but down and toward you. Just let the spine respond. And let those actions, those efforts ease and subside. Let's bring your two knees into your chest. Grab onto shins, maybe feet. Maybe roll the chin up toward the knees. And then let's release it out into your Shavasana for this morning. So legs on the mat, out straight. Arms beside you, maybe with hands on belly if that feels supportive. That helps you to stay present today. Settling into the back body here, the support that the ground is providing to you. And evenly feeling that breath in the front body. And your muscles and your tissues, the fullness of yourself here. Sensing the body, almost like you're a balloon, maybe a little sea urchin. As you inhale, feel like you're expanding in all directions. As you exhale, feel as though you're drawing in from all directions. Let's take your arms up overhead, reaching toward the wall behind you. Let's go ahead and point through your toes, inhaling all the way down into those toe tips. And then as you exhale, flex your feet, pull the toes toward the knees, and feel yourself exhaling all the way up through the crown of the head. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, point the toes, inhale down into the feet. Exhale, flex the feet, and let that air go all the way up through the crown of the head. And as you feel ready, no rush. Bend your knees, let your feet come to the ground. Ease yourself gently over to a side. And slowly, steadily up to a comfortable seat. And try to stay with yourself just these last moments of practice. We started in this shape, let's end in this shape. Find your cross-legged seat, hands on legs. Feel where the weight settles, where the attention and the presence settles in your body. Let your hands settle in front of your heart. Reminding yourself as you head into your day to take it one breath, one moment at a time. Because in this moment, you have everything that you need to be present, to be compassionate and loving and kind, and to show up for yourself and others. I hope you all have a really beautiful Saturday. Thank you so much for being here with us. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you being here with us together. I love these Saturday morning gatherings. Go get some vitamin D today, even if it's just for a couple moments. Go stand outside. Couple things to note coming up. So I'm with you again Monday night at 6. And we've got through the duration of April the same Saturday morning 10 a.m., Monday night 6 p.m., Wednesday night at noon schedule. And then it'll slim down a bit on the virtual classes as we head into May and the summer. So just start to look for those schedules to release. We do have, thank you so much, Stephanie, Yulia, Jackie. Thank you, Karen. Glad you were here with us. Please look, if you're interested in meditation and mindfulness at all, I'm going to be teaching a 6-week series starting the first Monday of April at the lunch hour, 15 minutes, 12:15 to 12:30. We'll do some really easy movement, get us settled into a comfortable position, and I'll take us through a guided meditation. Those are going to be every Monday for those 6 weeks through the second week of May. And we're doing it as a benefit. So any donations that come in for those classes will go directly to Center for Hope and Safety here in Salem. So look for that. Thank you, Jacob, so much for being here with us. Lakin, really loved having you here. Thank you. And I'm glad you enjoyed the centering focus. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. I'll see you all soon. Donation information for Venmo and PayPal is in the description if you'd like to support for class. And my phone's behind the screen. Yes, Ayako, we have SUP days coming. So many good sunshine days in the future. Wendy, good to have you. I'm glad that you laugh with me. I'm glad that I cannot hear those in my mind yet. That would be a sign of bad things. But I do imagine you guys laughing with me. Thanks, Lori. I'm glad you enjoyed the class. Ruth, thank you so much. All right, everyone, I'm going to hit end, but I hope that you have a lovely, lovely day, and I will see you soon.